This air suspension is over 15 years old. I genuinely don't know if I can save it. Today, I'm finding out if I can save it or if I'm going to have to replace it. If it all works, I will save thousands on having to replace it. If it doesn't work, budget's going to get blown, and that's going to be a problem.
The first job was to remove the old boot install, which I'd just sort of thrown in to get everything working. Found this nice puddle, which is ideal. Squirt everything with a bit of fairy liquid and water, see if we can find any areas that's going to bubble up. That's where we know we've got a leak. Started going wrong here.
So, the jack's broken, which is pretty disappointing. So I just need to buy a new jack.
Back with the squirty bottle, having a look for more leaks, and you can see there that it's bubbling up. That means that joint is leaking. At this point I thought I could just recut new ends on the joints, put them back in, and that would hopefully resolve the issues. You'll see at the end of the video that was not the case. Yep, testing all of the joints on the flexies, ones into the bag and all the way back to the manifold. It is just so cool, I love it.
Let's go check the rear bags for leaks. Give me soapy water.
Back with the soapy water on the rear bags. Didn't find anything, no leaks whatsoever.
Both the rears look pretty spot on, but no bubbles whatsoever. If you haven't checked the manifold, so let's go. Strip the air tank out, but keep it connected, check the manifold leaks.
Pulled the tank out, checked all the joints, nothing looks bad, all good. At this point I decided to clear everything out. While waiting for the new joints to arrive for the front bags, I decided to start building a new boot install for the back. Turns out this is a pretty bad idea, but just keep watching. So back in my comfort zone in my workshop where I can actually do some carpentry.
Right. So I used the old boot carpet out of the Vento, traced it onto this sheet of MDF, cut around it, a little bit of fiddling and stuff to get it in there, and then I cut it into sections. This section will be fixed on the left, that will be fixed on the right, where the battery will sit. This section at the back here will take the tank, and that means that I can remove this section separately, which obviously gives me access to my spare wheel and the manifold for the air ride. So now I'm going to carpet it. I've done similar in my R32's air ride build, like carpet, just roll it right over on both edges, and when they butt up, as long as it's a nice snug fit, they nip up really nice. You'll see there is a joint, but it's not ugly, it looks good.
I used the same method and the same carpet in the air install in my R32, and it's all been absolutely perfect. Where them joints run against each other just looks really nice as far as I'm concerned.
Pretty happy with how that's turned out. I like all these joints, I think they look neat, to be honest with you. They're proper nice, and even when it's in the car, it'll obviously squish together just that little bit more, which will just make them a bit tighter. But I mean, even as they're laid down now, they look pretty smart. So tank will sit here, compressor here, battery over there. I'm gonna have to make a box to go over the battery. But yeah, pretty cool. Now got the tank sat in place where it will be, and just marked it with tape onto the carpet. Take it back in the workshop, get it bolted down to that bit board, run the new air lines, wire it up, get the compressor over here, getting the tank bolted down to this piece of timber. Then I'm ready to get it back in the boot, run the pipes, the air lines, and the cables from the pressure sensor switch back to the compressor. I think we should be able to turn it on. See what we find. Got new air lines to replace all the old ones, so just old. That's the tank in, wired. I've tucked the wires right around the back so you can't see them. Yeah, new pipes. Mess.
So this was all work I was doing while I was waiting for the new parts to arrive so I could stop the leaks on the front bags.
Just got it all temporarily wired up together so I can run the compressor up, check all of the joints for any leaks. Everything's new, all renewed, all replaced, so it shouldn't be any leaks, but also check all this before I tidy it all up. Yep, fingers crossed. That's adjusting. See it straight away, it's made that much better. Pressure switch. Pressure switch was right. The pressure switch was wired up correctly. I am happy with everything. Now it's time to just have a big tidy up. Get these cables and pipes and air lines sorted. Get all my wood shavings out.
Time to give everything a proper good clean out. I made some pretty bad decisions by drilling and sawing stuff in there with the new carpet in place because all of the sawdust just clung into it. Trusty Amazon.
So that was a bit of a fail, the fronts are still leaking. I was hoping I could just get away with putting a new end on the pipes and refitting them, but I've ordered some new fittings, as you saw just in the link then. I'm going to leave it sitting at, I don't know if you can see that, what is it? They're both at like just under 75 psi, front and rear. We'll leave it overnight, because it's not going to hurt, and we'll just see what happens. I think the rear will hold, but the front will probably drop again. Well, I think we found another leak. So, can I save the air suspension? The answer is no. I thought it was just going to be the joints, but it turns out the actual bags themselves have perished. I wish I'd noticed that before I built the new air ride install for the boot. So to summarise, can I save 15-year-old air suspension? No. Should I have worked that out before I built the new boot install? Yes. I'll show you a close-up of what the actual problem is and why it's unrepairable. So I was expecting the problem to just be with the push fittings. I've had previous issues with that on other air ride systems, but the actual problem is that it's leaking around here on this seal here, and they're just so old. I just don't think it's worth even saving. Could replace the bag, but the shock's still 15 years old. And then on the rears, it's a similar situation. Just around here where you got this clamp on the bag, but it's just leaking like a tiny amount. It held pressure for like 3 days, but still leaking. I just don't trust it. I can't put my kids in there happily, even knowing there's a little hole which could just rip. I wish I'd worked that out before I built all of this, because now it's completely pointless. I can't afford to replace the air ride, so it's going to have to be going down the coilover route, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that means I can put proper tyres on instead of having to stretch so it tucked when it dumped out. So I had a bit more confidence in the tyres then, because I had stretched 35s on here, and it just scared every time you go around a corner. Any recommendations on what brand coilovers or any decent deals out at the minute? If you could just put a comment, I'd appreciate any help. Thanks to everyone who subscribed after the headlining video. I had a lot of comments, a lot of private messages, so it's good. I'm just a bloke
on a driveway trying to put a 30-year-old car back on the road, so we've all been there. Next week's video is going to be try and get some of this lot sorted. It's mental.